Soon she'll wake and paint again.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an amazing turn-based RPG released in 2025. Nobody was expecting much of the game, but it showed us that a AA game can be a masterpiece and is surely going to be one of the nominees of the Game Awards this year.
You're only going to make things worse for everyone.
No. She chose to come. I didn't make the rules between you two.
You're fighting.
The game was developed by the studio Sandfall Interactive and released in April of 2025 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows directly on Xbox Game Pass. So if you didn't play it yet, do. Especially if you use Game Pass, it'll hook you in the first 30 minutes of the game.
I thought I was used to losing people.
Yeah, me too.
The game mixes exploration, combat, and one of the most original and immersive storylines I've ever seen. In the first minutes of gameplay you'll already like that universe and characters, and from there on, it'll surprise you more and more. The combat is in a turn-based style, but is probably the best game to start playing this kind of game if you never played some, cause it's not just press a button and wait, you gotta make it happen by quick time events to increase the damage. You'll also need to dodge or parry enemies' attacks, otherwise you won't get far in the game, cause it may be challenging in some moments, so just do a favor to yourself and play it.
Our Expedition 33.
Life is Strange is one of the biggest games almost totally focused in the story and storytelling, creating one of the most immersive and original stories in video games history. The game was developed by the studio Dontnod Entertainment and was released to all platforms since then, except the current generation, but you can play on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series through the One and PS4 version, and yes, it's also available on iOS and Android.
So what do you want? You don't know who the fuck I am!
What are you doing? Get that gun away from me, psycho! No!
Follow the story of Max Caulfield, a photography senior who discovers she can rewind time while saving her best friend Chloe Price. The pair soon find themselves investigating the mysterious disappearance of fellow student Rachel Amber, uncovering a dark side to life in Arcadia Bay. Meanwhile, Max must quickly learn that changing the past can sometimes lead to a devastating future. A game with a thrilling and immersive story that will hook you in the first hour of gameplay, mixing interesting features and choices that will lead you to different events, even changing the end of the game.
You know how much this fucking outfit costs? You look great. I can't even chill on the steps.
Okay.
No way! No fucking
You
way!
okay, Victoria?
Oh, Samuel is sorry.
The killer left the heart next to the body. This wasn't some random act of violence. This was a ritual.
Alan Wake 2 is a unique horror game with an amazing storytelling that unfortunately didn't get all the attention deserved, but is surely one of the most original games ever and one of the best horror games of history.
There's something I'm forgetting. Something important.
The game was developed by Remedy Entertainment and released in 2023 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. It was even competing for the Game of the Year award in the Game Awards, but Baldur's Gate 3 was the winner as we know. But my favorite game of that year is Alan Wake 2. It's a sequel of the original game released in 2010 that was an insane horror video game with an impressive story and storytelling, and in the second game they rose it to another level with impressive realistic graphics and one of the most immersive gameplays I've ever seen, mixing terrifying moments with insane puzzles and an amazing feature of the game that allow you to connect points of the story in your own mind. What's a very interesting mechanic here?
A page of text written with a typewriter. Someone's been watching us.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head? I need to escape this nightmare.
The soundtrack is another amazing part of the game, with original and amazing songs, and the audio design is as good as a horror game needs it to be. And don't worry, you won't understand 100% of the story in the first gameplay, but is a game that will get you thinking about it for a long time.
Show me. me, that's it!
Outer Wilds is a unique game about exploration, mysteries, and puzzles, all that's set in different places of the solar system. The game was developed by the studio Mobius Digital and released in 2020 to PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. Outer Wilds is a critically acclaimed and award-winning open-world mystery about a solar system trapped in an endless time loop. You're the newest recruit of Outer Wilds Ventures, a fledgling space program searching for answers in a strange, constantly evolving solar system. As you explore the game, you'll see things getting connected with answers and more mysteries. What will make your playtime in the game better at every new discovery, making the experience in the game really unique.
BB, don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you.
Death Stranding is the ultimate game so far of the master Kojima, creator of the revolutionary series Metal Gear, and here on Death Stranding he decided to do something totally new, what disappointed some people, but also created a whole new wave of fans.
Sam, we want you to go west and finish what Emily started. The people she left behind have been hard at work, setting up Cairo network terminals. But
the game was developed by Kojima Productions and released in 2019 to PlayStation 4, but later it was also released on Windows and Xbox, but the second game for now is only on PlayStation 5, but will probably in the future be launched on PC and maybe even Xbox too.
She's fine. Extinction's on hold.
As Sam Bridges, your mission is to deliver hope to humanity by connecting the last survivors of a decimated America. A game that mixes exploration, building, walking simulator, and delivery, creating a new type of video game, but the peak, at least for me, is the storytelling, being one of the most cinematic games ever released, with incredible actors in the roles, delivering an amazing work with great characters that will keep you connected in the story in every cutscene. The base of the gameplay is deliver, but it's not just walk as you may think. As you keep advancing, you'll be unlocking new ways to do it, with ziplines, bikes, cars, robots, and much more. In the start you may feel kinda lost, but in some hours it'll be really satisfying to connect the world with new delivery routes you create. So yes, it's an unique experience.
You're the one I wanted to send, Sam. Time's running out. Help Amelie, she needs you.
Before this whole thing started, I just floated through life. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but my life didn't start until the world came to an end.
I want to be something more fun.
All right, nerds, this ends now.
I sense some epic missions in my future.
To battle!
Sunset Overdrive is an action open-world game with a lot of charisma. The studio that developed the game is Insomniac Games. Yeah, the same studio of Spider-Man games of PlayStation. But the interesting part is that this game is exclusive of Xbox One and PC, and it was released in 2014, of course before of Sony buying the studio. Sunset Overdrive transforms an open-world apocalypse into your tactical playground. Zip, grind, and wall run across Sunset City with an unconventional arsenal. Hyper-agility, unique weapons, and customizable abilities deliver an explosive and irreverent adventure in the end times. The world is colored and beautiful, and despite it's in a catastrophe, the game is really charismatic and funny even, with quirky characters, cosplayers, and much more. The best thing by far of the game is the gameplay, that's fast, stylish, and really immersive, with many possibilities, grinding everywhere, even in the wires of the streets, jumping in many different places, and shooting with a lot of weapons, so believe me, you won't regret playing this game if you want to have fun.
We'll take Bisco down, or we won't, but we'll get some wicked respawn animations.
Tunic, explore a land filled with lost legends, ancient powers, and ferocious monsters in Tunic, an isometric action game about a small fox on a big adventure. A game developed by the studio Tunic team and released in 2022 to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, Mac OS, and Windows. This is a game that you may look and think this is a Zelda's copy, and well, there are mechanics inspired in Zelda here, and that's clear, but the game is extremely original, with something I had never seen in a game: the importance of the manual. As you play, you'll find more and more pages of the manual that will tell you what to do, but the point is, it's in a language that you won't get anything. Some parts will be in English, but just a few, and you'll need to follow by the figures. What makes the gameplay really immersive? The combat is hard, but really rewarding as you learn.
Apostles of Awful, you've hunted well.
Mad Max is an excellent and unique open-world game. Yes, it's a game of the classic Mad Max, and allow you to live in a universe as deadly and devastating as a Mad Max game gotta be. It was developed by the studio Avalanche Studios and released in 2015, 10 years ago, and it's to this day an insane game with an immersive universe, great gameplay, and a good feeling of progress that makes the game really unique and fun. It's available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Mac OS, Linux, and Windows, and of course it's also available in the current generation through the retro compatibility.
Out here, there are no heroes. No gods. No saviors.
It's not a game for the players that like to focus on the main quests and beat the game as fast as possible. If you're this kind of player, this game may not be for you. This is a game for players that like to explore the universe, and it gives you hours of content, cause everywhere you explore, every place you scrap and destroy, and every new challenge you achieve will unlock new things for you, and the progression with both Max and the car is really immersive, so you'll really feel like you're in the world of Mad Max, and to this day, the game has insane realistic graphics, so it looks like a 2025 game even.
There's only those who live, those who die. And those who stand in my way. My name is Max.
I was never meant to be a warrior.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a realistic and immersive medieval experience set in a first-person camera with the most realistic combat ever made in a medieval video game.
Watch out, here we go. Henry, our hero Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. His fellow man.
It was developed by Warhorse Studios and released in 2025 to Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and Windows, and if you want to play it, you must know that it's an extreme realistic game in every single detail, combat, story accuracy, and the world itself, with realistic places that were really there in the past, many are to this day, so it's fun to explore the game and search for these places on internet to see how they're today.
Well, now we're really fucked. You have to fight till the bitter end.
The journey is long, immersive, and slow, so if you don't like realistic games, you should take a better look before playing, cause it's really a medieval simulator with a hard but immersive combat system, a good story, and a very fun exploration, and can even be useful for you to explore how they lived back then, cause as I said, it's realistic in every detail. It's the sequel of the original game released in 2018, that's also an amazing RPG game, so if you think you'll like it, consider to play the first game first, but the second is better in all aspects and details.
The most adventure I was expecting was a fuck or two.
You a witcher? That monster slayer they's talking about in the village?
About to ask me for help, aren't you? I can help.
but I don't work for free.
The Witcher 3 is one of the biggest open-world RPG games ever created. It's set in one of the most interesting and rewarding open world of video games history. Everywhere you go there will be something interesting to explore, finding new items, such as armors, weapons, or even items required to craft different and unique stuff.
I'll not drink with Weaver-Lost freaks.
Heard you wondering about my swords. One's for monsters. The other for humans.
The game was developed by the studio CD Projekt Red and released initially in 2015, even won the Game of the Year award in that year, and it was released on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows, but later it was also released on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch, with a free upgrade for those who had the game on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
Thing is, the real beast is something else though.
Listen to me. I rule the largest empire the world has ever known.
Geralt, we should stay out of
In the game you play as Geralt of Rivia, the legendary Witcher of that world, and the characters will hook you in the start of the game. Geralt, Vesemir, and even characters that you'll find along the journey will all show you how impressive the game is. As you start playing, you'll see its beautiful world, with infinite things to do, explore, quests to do, and enemies to fight, all with a lot of charisma and personality, making one of the best games ever created.
Choosing the lesser evil can be hard at times.
Be careful, Geralt.
I'll rip your back off, mutant!
You don't need mutations to strip men of their humanity. I've seen plenty of examples.
Bully is an amazing open-world game. Many people don't know the game and judge it by its name, and indeed, the game is kinda unusual to the new world, but it's a unique experience that all who played it on PlayStation 2 will never forget.
What? Who are you? Mom, I thought you told me never to talk to strangers.
Like I said before, Jimmy, please be nice to your new stepfather.
The game was developed by Rockstar Games and released in 2006 to PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Windows, but later it was also released on PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, Android and iOS, and is a unique game from our beloved Rockstar Games.
Nothing. Just that you're friends with that sociopath Gary. Socio what? Sociopath. It means... Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Bully tells the story of mischievous 15-year-old Jimmy Hopkins as he goes through the hilarity and awkwardness of adolescence. Beat the jocks at dodgeball, play pranks on the preppies, save the nerds, kiss the girl, and navigate the social hierarchy in the worst school around. What impressed me to this day in the game is that the NPCs you encounter just exploring the school or the city are the NPCs of the story and cutscenes, what allow you to interact with every one of them. Today it may not be so impressive, but remember that it was released in 2006, so it's even scary to see what Rockstar Games developers already could do 20 years ago.
I've got some library books that need to be returned, but I'm too scared to go to my locker. Do I look like a librarian? No, listen. I need your help. Pretend we're friends. Walk with me. I'll pay. I'll pay you $2. $2? Are you crazy? Make it 5.